All right, I'll say, how are you all this evening of your time as you create time to exist? Are you all alive? Oh, thank you very much. Allow us to begin this interaction this evening by again assuming the position to explain that from our perspective, reality, all realities, but including physical reality, is literally holographic. What this means, literally, not figuratively, though you can, in that sense, experience the effect of it being figurative, is that each and every point in the entirety of reality contains all other points. One of the anchors for your ability in that sense to begin to perceive the holographic nature of reality lies in each and every given moment. Each and every given moment is connected to all other moments and contains, shall we say, an infinite potential of ideas that can be manifest. However, when individuals choose, either consciously or unconsciously, to experience any given now moment, recreating the past, creating a imagined future, you are not utilizing in that particular moment what is right available in that moment. And your access to the holographic nature of each and every moment have to do with weighing out the choices available. When, in that sense, you spend, as you say, a moment recreating a past or creating an imagined future, you are, shall we say, adding to the list of possibilities things which are not immediately available, things which you cannot act on right then, right there. Therefore, this process that you have, in a sense, created on your planet and is, shall we say, existing in other societies where a timeline exists of pasting and futuring, these particular perspectives block off your vision to what is right there by, shall we say, confusing the matter with extra information. So the idea is, in each and every moment, if you will allow yourself to choose between what is right there, not throwing in what is not immediately available, you will begin to afford yourself new options. You will begin to utilize each and every moment for what it contains, for its, shall we say, unique advantage, rather than drawing yourself back in a given moment to again recreating a perceived past. You only ever do exist in the now moment. And if you wish, you may label the now moment and this interaction the open space. For each and every moment is the open space. It only seems in that sense to be limiting, if again, when you are weighing what is immediately available to act upon, if you begin to throw in ideas that are not. This is what closes the open space. So, if you wish again to open up each moment to the variety of possibilities of creating your life according to preference in that moment, our strongest and immediate suggestion would be to factor out what you cannot act upon right here, right now. What that will do again is broaden your vision to allow you to see what you can act upon right here, right now. When you allow yourself to see truly what all of your options are, you can then use your excitement what moves you from those options to choose. But again, when you throw in extra parameters that are not available, it literally confuses the issue and does not allow you to see what is right there, thereby denying your access to the unique advantage in every moment, in every open space. Again, allow us to remind you that you only ever do exist in the now moment. And when you perceive to relive the past, have a memory, as you call it, you are not truly reliving the past. You are not truly, again, occupying that past. You are only and can only recreate the past in that moment. Therefore, any hold that you have determined that the past has upon you is simply that, a determination by you, an elaborate, shall we say, not meaning this derogatorily, but the mechanism is an elaborate excuse to hold yourself back to do what it is you wish to do, because perhaps if you are using the past in this way, you've never been able to do it before, so why should you even give it a shot now? But the idea is that the present is not experientially a result of the past. The past has no hold upon each and every now moment other than the hold that you assign it. Again, when you have the idea that you are having a memory, you are literally recreating the idea of a perceived past. When you did, quote unquote, experience a particular, shall we say, event in your past, you were a different person then. There was a neutral set of events going around, but according to who you were, you determined your perception of what was going on, which again was only, even at that time, an interpretation, a perception. Now, when you recreate that past, you are recreating a new perception of an old perception of a reality that occurred that perhaps was not even reflective of the initial perception, only an interpretation. But as you recreate the past, you are doing so from the now standpoint being a new person, having new points of view. So therefore, when you quote unquote remember something you have remembered before, you are not truly even remembering the same thing. You are adding subtle details, subtracting subtle details that now conform with your present definition of who it is you assign and define yourself to be. So therefore, the past can be, shall we say, useful and pleasant information. You can utilize your memory, your recreation of the past to learn, to perhaps choose to not recreate certain, shall we say, procedures that you had decided in that sense to participate in this time around. And therefore, it can be quite useful to utilize your perception of the past, but you need not use the past as an excuse to perpetuate a non-preferred present. And the same goes with the idea of futuring. What you call formulation of worst case scenarios using the tool of your imagination, perhaps as somewhat of a self-destructive weapon rather than a tool. For the idea is when you imbue a perception of something that you feel is most likely to occur, you can really get into it. You can actually work up a negative emotionality about something that simply does not exist in your physical world. Then very often when you come up to that situation, it is nothing like you pictured, and many times you say, well, I wasted a lot of time getting all upset, and look, it didn't even happen. But the idea is your imagination is that strong to be able to simply, by imagining a perceived situation, even work yourself up into a tizzy, as you say. So the idea is, it is that sensorial. But you can begin to use that same tool instead of, again, a self-inflictive weapon. And you can do so by allowing it to provide you with the image of the preferred you and allow it to extrapolate what the preferred you would do in any given situation. Then when a particular situation comes along and you are not sure how you wish to act and perhaps find yourself, quote unquote, falling into a past negative pattern, you can simply hand that situation over in your imagination to the preferred you, the preferential you. If you will watch what that you does and do that instead of what you were going to do, you will get the effect of the preferential you. And you will be utilizing the open space of that given moment rather than closing yourself down claustrophobically into quite a small cubicle of space. You can understand each and every now moment to be the ultimate open space. So therefore, begin to allow yourself to be grounded into what is right in front of you. Even literally, that is all you have to act upon. And if you will act from what is available, choosing the thing that moves you the most with integrity from those choices, you will set up a new positive momentum. And this new positive momentum will consistently yield positive manifestations in your life. And it is not so much that you will run from a non-preferred life, but allow yourself to walk through the open space of the moment, the new preferred life. Therefore, allow us to thank you and offer our unconditional love and appreciation to you for your willingness to begin to open up to the moment, to begin to utilize what's there and not create what is not as a distraction. When in that sense you are willing to utilize what is right in front of your face, you will find that in each open space, each now moment, you always truly do have everything you need to proceed. Only when you have a rigid expectation that something must come in a particular way, and you narrow your vision to only expect it in that way, do you close down that space and not allow perhaps the more effortless way, the path of least resistance way, that the very same effect can be achieved. So therefore, work with, in that sense, or play with, what is there and not what is not. Very simple, if you allow it to be. Again, we thank you for your willingness to unfold in this way and co-create this interaction with us. Because of this willingness on your part, we are enriched greatly, for we see that many more ways that all that is expresses itself, and we understand you as well as us to be extensions of all that is. Therefore, we learn about ourselves when interacting with any other portion of creation. So we get something out of this as well. For this we thank you. And we ask you, how may we be of service to you? Sharing. All right, I'll say, before we continue, allow us to share again and for the first time the idea that you only, always attract to yourself a reflection of the vibration of who it is you are being right then, right there. So you can always utilize what's present in your external reality as a feedback system, a feedback mechanism to allow you, in that sense, to nail down your current set of beliefs. Therefore, all ideas, all events, all relationships can be used and gleaned for positive meaning. Do again remember, every situation, every occurrence, every event is a neutral set of props with no built-in meaning. You provide the meaning, and the meaning you provide is the effect you get out. So therefore, if you are finding effects in your life that you do not prefer, you can understand that they are the results of your own interpretations. And when you find yourself in that sense labeling the neutral set of props as negative, that allows you the opportunity to begin, in that sense, to hone in on what beliefs you are still choosing to perpetuate that would have you interpret that neutral set of props in a negative way. All events contain 100% potentiality for both positive and negative. So therefore, if you are very quick and apt in that sense to give a negative label to a neutral situation, it is not that that situation is inherently more negative than positive. It is just perhaps that in many instances within your society, there is the ingrained notion that every time you see that, it's bad. And the idea is, though perhaps it is in that sense a separative idea, a disintegrative idea, rather than an integrative one, it is still in that sense containing that other 100% potentiality for positive. There is nothing. Did he say nothing? I think he did. Nothing that occurs that does not have that 100% positive interpretation as well as the negative. They are all that neutral. And the trick, as you say, is not so much to neutralize them and keep them neutral, for they are of no use to you then. By utilizing all your creations, you can glean positive from it all. If something comes along and seems quite negative, all right. It is obvious what is negative about it. But if you are now willing to begin to expand your consciousness to include the positive, you can begin to look beyond what is obviously negative and begin to see how it serves you. And not only serves you, but serves you exactly as it is. Therefore, when something comes along, and we have used this analogy before, within which you say, why is this happening to me? Poor little old me. Oh dear. You can simply change your perspective and own your reality and say, how is this of service to me exactly as it is? When you allow any symbol that you have created, any of these neutral props, to deliver a positive message that will serve you, it transforms. It moves on in that sense. It goes away, so to speak, because you have integrated it within you. But when you feel that something is extraneous, you do not allow yourself to glean the positive meaning. And because it is a symbol that has been created to deliver that positive message to you, it may seem to keep coming back under different guises, that common negative theme. And it is simply you not allowing yourself to glean the message. Once you get the message from any symbol, it transforms. So if something seems to repeat, it is as simple as, again, remembering that it is truly neutral. Your willingness to interpret it as negative allows you to key in on the beliefs of why you would interpret it as negative. And your willingness to expand your consciousness will also then allow you to glean what is positive about it as well. Therefore, everything is of positive service to you. And when you allow it to be of positive service, it transforms. It no longer has a reason. You have accepted the message it was created to deliver. So use all your creations, for they will always be opportunities to learn more about yourself. And at the same time, begin to accept the things that you have perhaps created out of unconscious, non-preferred beliefs. Utilize consciously a positive effect from them, allowing them to transform and replacing them now by beginning now to only generate conscious preference. Therefore, again, because you can only experience the reality that you are the vibration of, Our ability to communicate with you allows you to utilize that as feedback and to understand that you also contain whatever positive ideas you perceive to be within us. For again, you cannot perceive any reality, anything, unless you first contain it. So therefore, if there's something that you truly love in these interactions, you can, in that sense, utilize it as a message to yourself that you already contain it, and rejoice that you contain it and are now providing a reflection back to yourself of having contained it to begin with. We have used the analogy, and we will again use it, that you always contain it all, or you would not be able to make any sense out of it. You even contain all the answers to all your questions. And all, in a sense, questions are your willingness to, rather than simply allow the answers to be obvious, to phrase those answers in a way that allows you to put the responsibility outside of yourself. But you must contain the answer. For if you did not, when an individual rendered the answer to you, how would you know it was correct? The only way you know that answer is right is because you already contain it. And you are simply, again, providing an externalized reflection back to yourself of what you already contain. So anything that you see, anything in your reality that you perceive, that you love, you contain. There is an idea in your society you label enviousness. To us, this is quite a paradox. Allow us to explain why. Enviousness is seeing something in another that you love and don't believe that you contain. But here is the paradox. As we have just shared, you can only perceive a reality if you first contain it. So therefore, if you see it and it excites you in another, you must contain the ability to do it. When you display enviousness, you are simply not doing it. You are simply assuming that you cannot, and not realizing that the fact that you love it, that it moves you, that it excites you, is your indication that you have infinitely the ability to begin on whatever level you can to do that thing. Therefore, thank the individuals that you find yourself being envious toward, for they are reflecting back to you what not only you contain, but what you have, again, the infinite capability to manifest. And therefore, they are of service to you. And we thank you. Shedding. At this timing, allow us once again to remind you that the open space is each and every here and each and every now moment. Here and now are the only place and time there are. You always only exist in the now moment. Allow those now moments to be obvious. Allow yourself to see what's there. When weighing your options, only include what you can act on. You will, in that sense, begin to broaden those options. And you will begin to see what we have shared, that each and every moment is the open space. Each and every moment is holographic. Not at all bottled in, not at all limited, not at all claustrophobic. Quite open and allowing you open access to your totality. Each moment has everything you need. But only if you will allow yourself to see it, will that be conscious. Otherwise, it will be an unconscious fulfillment of your needs. Therefore, this is the time to allow things to become conscious. For, again, your willingness to explore the many, many aspects of your expanding consciousness. We thank you and bid you a most unconditionally fond and loving pleasant dreams.